Have you, your family, or your friends found yourselves glued to the internet? Are you having trouble getting yourselves out into the world and socializing? This is because of a condition called flatulence portmanteus interrete, more commonly known as internet gas. It's been a recent development in youths and young adults since the early 2000s. However, the boys at Bounding have created a solution to help you and your loved ones get back to the land of the social living. Introducing Dumbs. It's like another brand to help with your flatulence, but we can't name it because the video would be claimed for copyrighted material. And Dumbs will have quite the effect on internet gas. It's about as effective as anything else in the snake oil markets. Listen, you're probably better off just unplugging the damn computer so your loved ones can stop watching cat videos and tinfoil hat reviews of 10-pole films. But we here at Bounding need some money. And since some of you are so willing to impart large portions of your paycheck to Twitch Thoughts, we figured you might be willing to shell out a bit more for the imaginary cure for an imaginary condition. The very idea of it is dumb, just like the idea of internet gas, and anyone who would be affected by it somehow getting hooked to the internet. That's what porn websites are for. But I argue that there's no better remedy out there to eliminate internet gas. I mean, other than comic book shops going out of business, and comic book distributors shutting down, and publishers having no plans to remedy the situation. So honestly, this is probably the fourth best option out there. Dumbs is available at any of your local bullshit retailers. Just look for it next to the cure for COVID-19 and a bottle of unobtainium. Dumbs, the cure for internet gas, the remedy to get you off the internet, the solution that works.
I would have stopped at Snowflake and Safe Space in this series about the new Warriors, but it looks like the internet really doesn't like these characters. But here we go, the new title coming out on April 15th, The New Warriors, and this video will be focusing on the internet-gassed Screentime. As described by writer Daniel Kibblesmith, the character, as described on Marvel's main website, is a meme-obsessed super teen whose brain became connected to the internet after becoming exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. Now he can see augmented reality and real-time maps and can instantly Google any fact. Does this make him effectively a genius? He sure acts like it does. I wanted to have teen characters who felt as now as the New Warriors did in 1990, explains Kibblesmith. The New Warriors have been zeitgeist characters from the beginning. You get edgy skateboarding Night Thrasher in the 90s and the reality TV team in the 2000s. Now in 2020, we have New Warriors who have never grown up without the internet, and one character who appears to essentially live inside it.
Screentime is an internet kid taken to its sort of logical conclusion. As a youth, he was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas, and that has patched him permanently into the World Wide Web. The word Screentime is only ever used in a sort of restrictive sense, and because we're doing a story about teenage rebels, a lot of the names are about teens fighting against labels that are put on them. So with Screentime, we liked the idea that he has infinite screen time.
Honestly, there should be no images of this kid without his VR headset, or walking. Anybody with their eyes glued to a screen, or as Kibblesmith puts it, living inside the internet, wouldn't be as mobile as this kid appears. They'd be as active as old Charles Xavier and Logan, or even the late Stephen Hawking. But this is comics, and it doesn't have to make sense. I will say that a certain aspect of reality and science and research has to happen in order for the title to have some appeal. Fringe, a primetime show that aired on Fox back in the day, was successful because it featured elements of radical sciences and theories put in motion in a very stripped down and practical way. Interstellar, the film by Christopher Nolan, was a science fiction movie, but Nolan consulted with astrophysicist Kip Thorne when exploring ideas behind the Tesseract, the black hole, and the wormhole. So I'm just saying, fictional works have to make some sense. And the internet gas that produces the new Warriors hero Screentime does not. I figured his contributions to the team would be more like the man in the chair, like Microchip to the Punisher, or Ned Leeds to Peter Parker, yet it looks like he has enough vitality and vigor and whatever youthful exuberance exhibited by larger and more fit members of the crew to at least keep up in a concerted effort to run towards the audience in a group shot. But again, this is comics, and it doesn't have to make sense. And the reality is that this team makes their debut when the comic book landscape needs something else. Something more than what it or C.B. Cebulski is giving. And in a post responding to Peter Samedi of Alterna Comics, Marvel and its editor gave a tone-deaf response to how it would be helping comic book shops as they struggle through this problematic time. For Marvel titles scheduled to go on sale between March 18th and April 8th, Marvel is offering extensive deep discounts, adjusted on top of the existing discounts you have in place, to help alleviate cash flow pressures and give you the flexibility to sell your products in response to customer demand as needed. This move will increase total discounts for you upfront and preserve the cash you have immediately available. These discounts will also allow your store to fully dedicate your resources and staff to selling comics and other essential tasks. Marvel and Diamond will also be preserving your current regular Marvel discount tier regardless of any decreases to your order levels. By maintaining your current regular discount tier, we hope to give you the confidence you need to reduce and adjust your orders and steadily accommodating your ongoing pull and hold list customers. Everyone here at Marvel has been working closely all week with our talent, retailers, distributors, and even fans around the world to make sure that all of your differing needs and concerns are heard and addressed in these uncertain times. And that was C.B. Cebulski. However, keep in mind, this is just until April 8th. And from the looks of it, many businesses will be shut down much longer than that. To which Peter responded quite aptly, which stores asked for deeper discounts instead of returnability options? And increased discounts for stores? That implies they'll have cash flow to get product in the first place. Many stores are 50% plus down in sales. Any word on returnability options for retailers? Image, Boom, Dynamite, Alterna, all offering safety nets with returnability right now. This is the comic book publisher equivalent of telling retailers, let them eat cake. The back and forth continued with C.B. Cebulski addressing Samedi directly. Peter, you're a smart guy who understands this business, so you know this is a difficult time for anyone and everyone who works in this industry we all love, especially retailers and talent. We're taking all situations into account when making any moves. Not all will be public. And then Peter replied, yep, that's why we offered full returnability plus trade-in options back in February 2019 to limit risk for retailers. And that's on top of having the most affordable price point in the industry. If these are your public moves, I shudder to think what the private ones look like. And this just goes to show where Marvel is right now with their strategy. Releasing titles that the core fandom has no interest in reading during a time where the retailers are at the cusp of shutting down completely. Because their focus isn't to help the comic book stores, ultimately it's to squeeze whatever nickels and dimes they can from the retailers, even at their lowest point. Diamond Comics distributors recently announced they are halting their operations until further notice. Steve Geppi, CEO and founder of Diamond Comic Distributors, came out with a statement today, March 24th. And here's a little bit of what he had to say pertaining to the comics we're supposed to be getting in April. Our publishing partners are also faced with numerous issues in their supply chain. working with creators, printers, and increasing uncertainty when it comes to the production and delivery of products for us to distribute. Our freight networks are feeling the strain and are already experiencing delays, while our distribution centers in New York, California, and Pennsylvania were all closed late last week. Our own home office in Maryland instituted a work-from-home policy, and experts can say we can expect further closures. Therefore, my only logical conclusion is to cease the distribution of new weekly product until there is a greater clarity on the progress made towards stemming the spread of this disease. Products distributed by Diamond and slated for an on-sale date of April 1st or later will not be shipped to retailers until further notice. And this puts all the comic book shops out of business for the month of April, regardless of how their states are handling the current situation with non-essential businesses. Anyway, since the distributors of the comics have decided to stay home and the comic book shops have had no choice but to shutter their doors, we might not get this comic when it releases on April 15th, sparing the comic book community from the horrid house of ideas churning out this new Warriors team. But for those of you with a sick sense of curiosity, you could still probably get this title digitally, unless we run out of internet gas.